gentlemen, Damo Suzuki. Yeah. Well, arigato.
Happy New Year.
Yes. So what I want to start is I'm really fascinated by your approach to performance and music, because I don't think there's anybody else who does it like you. No safety net, go in and just create on the spur of the moment. So why is that for you a driving force?
I think so. Music itself is the most important way you play now. So this moment you cannot get twice, and I'm together with you here. The whole atmosphere is also different, and some chemistry in the air. So totally all the time different. So. But that's why this thing is really giving.
Yeah.
So I like to make only giving stuff, but I don't like to think so much with negativities. Just think positive.
So for you, creativity is very instinctive and of the moment.
It's always, I think, positive. So it's really good energy.
So there will be no bad ideas, no good ideas. All ideas are valid.
But if you go to France, before that you don't decide which is good or which is bad.
Yeah.
So if you decide it's not so much interesting.
It just is. Just
it's how it comes.
Yeah.
By accent.
I mean, on the day of a concert, during the day, you've never met the musicians before. Do you have an idea of where you want it to go, or is it purely in the moment? It can go anywhere.
But if I have an idea, then it's already kind of plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I try not to. But because it's quite really difficult, because people I perform together with me, I never met before, so I don't know them. So that's this moment is really good. So beginning of the communication. So music itself is communication.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you have a sound check, or is it just straight into the gig?
Yeah, just no. Sound check is quite important, because if you're playing so this place and another place, sound in the room is quite different. So that's quite important making sound check.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how long does it take for you to get into that position where you get into the zone? You know, the musicians and you are in the same place. It won't happen all the time, will it? But mostly.
No, I never thought about this. It just happens so naturally. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really so.
If the music that's getting played, if it starts going off a tangent that you personally don't understand or does that matter? You know, do you say, please come back over here?
No, I don't command anybody. So I think if we make this kind of music, so it shouldn't have any kind of leader.
Mm-hmm. It's just a complete freedom.
Yes, because if you respect another people, then you can find a better way to go anyway. So you shouldn't have always go from that I'm right or something like this. So you shouldn't. Sometimes you must step by right or left.
Is there any kind of communication? Are you looking at each other, or do you create a situation where everybody's working on instinct and everybody's working on feel?
Your communication happens always. So you meet somebody and between you and me, so some kind of energies flowing, and maybe thinking, try to make this stage better as possible.
Yeah, yeah. And is this approach that you always had to music from when you started doing music? Is this how you always? I mean, you're a busker originally, so you will be playing other people's songs. But would you play those in a very free form way of how you felt in that moment?
I think I never thought of things like this. So I just
played. Yeah.
Just happens. But I try anyway, so I'm trying to live without any kind of information in my head before I do something. So I just like to start from zero. And if I make anything just by myself, so to make something like this, it's not that much important. So not so much interesting. But if we make with different people, 2, 3, 4, 5, so people who like to make something at the moment together, and then we have already positive energies because it's a creativity. So this moment is really important, and also audience understand them because they were there from the very beginning. So together, that means experience what they have. So they can tell to the people, oh, this concert was good, because they can say it, because they saw it and they felt, and so this is good because we make music with ing, so aim, so we are just doing living, so so that's a very important component of these things.
So the audience is equally important to you as musicians in terms of energy and
because we are sharing the same room.
Yeah. And do you feel the energy of the audience? Does that affect your creativity as well in that moment?
Yeah, that I can see after the concert, if people has a good face, so they are so smiling also, then I can find it, everything went really good. So,
yeah. I mean, when you first heard music, I imagine you'd be listening to Japanese music when you were growing up in the 50s. But when Western music first arrived in Japan, and the band you really liked was the Kinks, would there be a hint of that in there? Their music, did you sense a freedom in the music, or did you like it? Did you relate to it in a different way?
I really actually don't know because it's nothing to do with I'm losing my memory or something like this. Because if you say something, maybe 20 years before or 30 years before, you say something different answers.
Yeah.
Because you have something also experienced good about it, that's not so anything happened with your life, so you have another answer. So that's why for me, any kind of things which is concerned together with the past days, it's very difficult to answer. And if I answer, maybe I'm lying. So I'm not really sure. So
the young Damo is a very different person, would you say, or are the parts?
I think everybody else has so different faces. Two times.
Yeah, and is it part of the way you make music and create? You try to explore all those different faces, trying to find the face for that evening.
So this things you can train. So if you wake up in the morning and before you wash and you clean your tooth, so you can watch at the mirror yourself, or I am so and so, and I have a responsibility for this person. So then you get really good feeling. Mm-hmm. That person you cannot see all the time, but it's you. So, and if this person is really doing something positive and honestly, this is the best thing, right?
So your life off stage, are you in the pursuit of the same kind of freedom, or do you switch the Damo that's on the stage is free form, looking for the moment, the instinctive feeling, but back in the real world, is it completely different, or do you live your whole life like that?
No, I'm not doing zikir and hide. So I'm just living how I am.
So when you do the music, is that like a portal into a different place? I think that's what I'm wondering. Is that one of your faces? That's a free face. When you get up in the morning, you have to get out of bed, brush your teeth. There's a certain things you have to do in life. Is that what but that's not freedom, is it? So is there a dichotomy there? Is there an argument?
it's so quite having so quite sense of your life, so especially so living style.
Mm.
And if you are so really so into or interested to yourself, you have some kind of special philosophy or perspective for any kind of things because you like to be this, you know. So. But many people don't have it, so maybe it's not interesting.
I mean, do you relate to other music, or do you just make music that works for you and what you're trying to do for yourself? Or do you spend all day listening to other music, or do you find other music frustrating because it's made for completely different reasons, or does that even matter?
I think so. If I can, so maybe together with so some carriers, I understand. So at this moment, and we can create in the same time something. So that is really good things, and maybe that's why I'm doing this because every time different kind of form.
Mm. So it's yeah. So has music always been about that moment for you, or was there a moment when it became about being about the moment? You know, was it like when you were busking in Germany, or was it before that in Japan when you thought, oh, there's a power to music?
But maybe this is a totally different kind of answer. But, yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't have to be an exact answer. I'm just kind of interested.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah, so anything. So. But it's I have so much things. I have opportunities, so I never wanted to be kind of musician, and I never saw anything. And I'm so making music, and so because it happens. Because I was not so much taking care of things, many things, just things just which is come to me, so just so happened because I wanted to have my own experience, or maybe I wanted to make a communication with the universe, so that's why experiences exist.
And when you say you want to make a communication with the universe, was that something you felt when you were a teenager? Or was that something?
I think no, because at that time I was not so much interested, or maybe I was not able to think about this or something like that. You know, so when you are so teenager, maybe you are thinking to have a good-looking girl, or so things like this. So
Yeah.
maybe. So I didn't have particularly any kind of philosophy that time.
Was it something that happened when you were playing with Can, that sort of feeling there is a freedom in music? Or was it something before you joined Can? Was it something you were trying to find when you were busking out in the streets as well?
So I found that anything so especially so changed because I was improvising on the street as well. So many months is not even so different. European cities. So I made the music, also painted on the street and stuff like that.
So for all the bands you could have been asked to join, you got asked to join exactly the right one in a way, didn't you? Where there was a space for you to do whatever you wanted, which we were already doing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Did they recognise that in you, or did they? Because they'd seen you busking on the streets, hadn't they? You were improvising, so I guess they must have thought this would work with what we're doing. Was that something they saw in you that would work in their situation?
So this is a situation I really don't know because I didn't know why I made things like this. So why what was the reason I should make this? So, you know, I was working, maybe washing dishes or something, so I could leave too, but I went to traveling. So.
Yeah.
Because if you have any kind of problem or anything, so you feel like so it's on a dead end or something, so then much better to geographically movement then all perspectives are totally different, and you can begin from the very beginning. So there is another chance. So, and that was for me is important. So all things will happen.
I mean, the stuff you're doing in that period and to this day, when with words, you don't always sing. You sing in different languages, mix them all together, and sometimes just make sounds that sound like words. And I find that really fascinating. And again, do you think words and language, in a way, trap you? You know, I love this idea of total free expression. And do you find even words we have to use, even when we're talking to each other, are boxing us in too much? And it's just sometimes a sound can say so much more than a word.
Yeah. So I usually don't make any kind of languages, because if I take a role of a kind of messenger, it's not fair to the people, sound carriers playing together with me, because it's not only my music. So we are making music together. It's not my ego, So that's why I liked about this one.
So a lot of what you would do would be suggested by the music, but the music is also getting, from what you're singing, they're playing back. They're suggested by what you're singing as well.
Yeah. So also important is I made this sing with fantasy language. So this is also for me a space for interactivity of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody in the audience can make own stories
out of the sounds that you're making.
Yes.
Yeah.
And own stories and creative. So not just as a listener there, but they are creating energy together with maybe melody or maybe texture, so something getting together in somewhere. So I don't know. And because music is communication, so I'm trying to find a new dimension of music itself.
You're tapping into something that's already there.
Maybe it's already there.
Subconscious.
Maybe I didn't see it. But it's okay if I didn't see it before. But it's quite a new form. You know this one for already 40 years, and I find it now. But I feel really good with this one too.
Yeah. You said before that when you were busking, you were also painting. And I imagine the painting will be working on similar themes. But did you find painting not as good as music or making sounds of your voice? You know, do you think that's the purest form, or for you personally, the best way of tapping into these feelings?
Yeah, that's quite not a problem, but so I can make only one thing at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So if I make music, then I don't paint. I'm not so flexible, so to make those things. So I cannot make it. So.
But when you were painting, did you find it?
I think energy flow is different. So
very different, yeah.
I think different. So
in what?
Only one thing, or you make 2 or 3, 4 different things at the moment. But it's dependent on the capacity of this person. I don't have this capacity. So.
Do you think the painting was different because once you've done the painting, it's there, but with the voice while you're singing, it's constantly moving? Would that be something that you find a trap in a way? You make a painting, and that's it. There's the painting. Or I mean, what kind of style of painting were you doing? Does it have a parallel to the way you create music?
Manga.
Yeah. So quite different from the way you would be.
Yeah. So it's different. It's that kind of different. But I like mangas.
So when you don't like recording either, because again, that's probably going back to the idea about the painting. That once you've recorded something, it's just there and it's finished. And I'm guessing here, but you like the idea of the music just being fluid. It's there and it's gone. Next bits, you're in the moment. but recording it freeze frames that moment. Do you find that a frustration?
I think recording itself is quite against nature. So if you experience one thing, you shouldn't make any kind of documentaries. Because this moment is not only you can see visual or audio, its atmosphere is just only one time. And there is nothing really you can compare with the late productive things.
So it's because it's just freeze framed there forever, and if you repeat it, it's a false notion because you've moved somewhere else.
Yeah, then actually so quite so everything must be come from myself and the taste and the things, colors, it must come like this.
So have you found that well, we're all getting older obviously, but as you get older, does the way you create change? Do you find different words and different sounds come into your head?
I'm old enough, so
Wise old man.
So for maybe let's say 50 years before, everywhere I go I was the youngest.
Yeah.
And now everywhere I go is almost the oldest.
Let's have a look. Yeah.
And the first time I recognize that I'm old, that old football player is younger than me.
Yeah.
Then, when I was 45 or 50 years, I saw the old politician is younger than me. So I'm always getting so old, I found. So.
And do you find that changes the way you sing or the sounds that you make? Or are they the same? You know, you tap in there. Does it always go back to the same thing? Is the inner core of Damo Suzuki always the same, or is that moving about and changing?
Always,
yeah,
so
annoyingly.
Always sounds not so positive.
No, I was just wondering because
But actually, always sounds also not good, not bad, because it's quite personal.
Yeah, I mean, do you deliberately try and change as yourself as a person? Do you push yourself into situations where you have to be
Maybe
different?
I change anything 20 years later. So.
Yeah.
I'm not good with this kind of stuff.
It just is. You just do it.
No,
you get a mic and go.
Naturally. So.
There's no one. Yeah. You can't analyse it. It's just there.
No, I don't have any kind of ideas before, so it's always good to. Every day is kind of adventure, and it's really good. No problem.
Do you ever listen back to the gigs? You're not at the end of the gig?
No. So I don't have a problem with my necks, but I don't see it so bad because it's not natural. Because your face is watching at the front, so I usually see front, not back. So it's against nature.
So it's the moment. The moment is gone. Yeah. So also you're quite religious, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. So and what do you find in religion? Is it something very different than you find in music?
Yes, so I'm reading the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's all things of which I saw that I'm thinking and a movement of all social things is actually a prophecy of the Bible. It's really interesting now.
So do you find that it's almost opposite of what your mind for making music is in the moment? The Bible's very old stories, but you find a solace in those old stories.
So things with the Bible is not old. So thing with the Bible is a living book. So it's totally different. It's not old. So still living because this words inside is something.
So when you read the Bible, your interpretation of what you're reading in that moment is similar to your interpretation of music when you're singing. Is that a similarity?
Yeah, I think it could be possible. maybe it must be like this. So in a way. So otherwise, I didn't learn anything.
So when did you weren't always religious, were you? Was that something that happened in the 70s or 80s? Was that a later phase in your life?
70s, 80s.
Yeah, when were you always religious, or was it something that's become more and more part of your life as time has gone past?
I don't know, every so 10 years or so are totally different. So I cannot see everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, is it something that's becoming a bigger interest?
Yeah, sure. Otherwise, maybe I made book already with this. So.
Yeah.
I'm not able for this kind of stuff. So. It's some kind of stuff for me is really difficult, and never can make it write something on the book. If I could, that's really good. Maybe I could be a really good writer. But so I cannot do for any reason. I don't know.
Is it just Christianity, or are you interested in all spirituality and religions? And
so perspectives are now quite so different than before, and I think many things from different awakening.
So you're always looking for, is there a truth, or is it just lots of truths, or a truth for that moment?
I think truth itself is everybody's looking for.
Yeah.
Without this you cannot, so any kind of truth.
And how close to any kind of truth do you find in music? Is there moments when you're performing on a stage like this?
No, music is part of it. So
yeah.
Part of things which you can express your feeling and take this sort of thing to music.
So would you say music's a more primal force?
Primal force. I think much more natural.
Yeah. And would you say spiritual is more?
Primal is a bit different. But
yeah. I mean, do the two cross over ever? Do you the feelings you get from the spiritual interests? Do you get that feeling from playing music sometimes? Do you get that transcendental? The moments when life is so blissful and alive and everything makes sense. Do you get that same feeling from the spiritual side and the musical side, or different versions of the same feeling?
I think it's really difficult because it's time to time different. So each day, and also which part of the day, totally different. So communication totally different. So it's just not say, not able to say how it's standard or average. So things really happen because every time is special.
Of each day?
Yes.
Does that follow a pattern?
Yes.
Or is it so like when you wake up in the morning you think, thank God I'm still here, quite literally, and in the night time it's very different, just sliding back out the day again? Or how does that work in a musical kind of sense? Or is the musical part mid-evening when you're performing?
No, I don't think so. That music part is not actual music part. Maybe every second you give this kind of music, so which is natural. So it's always connected with energy flow, which is very natural. And that is quite important to understand.
So when you were a young man growing up, were you always seeking a kind of truth? Or, I know you said before when you're a teenager, you have typical teenage interests, which is great. But was there always a part of you that was always thinking, there's something more? There was a yearning or a quest to find something?
Yeah, my time or?
Yeah. What's it for you personally? Were you?
At the time as well, so I was not so much interested about the trend. That the trend was not big like now. So really not like international business.
No, I just wondered for you personally, when you were younger, you were trying to find something. Growing up in Japan in the post-war years, just trying to find there's something else out there more powerful, and I can't find it yet. But so would that be what you were like when you were a teenager or in your early 20s? or you just like just go on the road because you just want no responsibilities?
I think I was thirsty
Yeah,
and wanting to have some water.
yeah,
And that was the time also, if you grow up in such a situation, losing country, and many informations and influence comes from winners countries, so particularly USA. So that time, so when I was young, so quite many things was influenced by Americans.
hmm And was that something you embraced? Did you really embrace American culture?
Yes, so another thing is I was living quite near to American military bases.
Mhm.
And so I could get military radio, you can hear some American music, sometimes so 1964, 65, that time. And I have so another experience than another Japanese people who is living somewhere else. So.
Mm.
Musically, so I hear quite new music from Western countries.
I mean, how much do you still feel any kind of Japanese? You know, do you still feel Japanese culturally somewhere inside you, or is it part of a mixture?
Mm-hmm. I think this kind of thing, so you cannot escape. So if once you are Japanese, you are Japanese.
Mm. What parts of you would you say are very typically Japanese still?
I'm so quite against any kind of unnatural things. So I really don't try not to be Japanese. So it's for me it's impossible. So
To even work out.
I don't try to be German too. You know, so
Yeah.
especially.
So the whole thing is the truth is that you're trying to find with the music is trying to be yourself, trying to find whatever's inside. Is that what you're doing when you're playing and singing, or is that just too deep? You're just making a noise, a sound that just sounds fantastic.
It sounds so different. So every concert I perform with a total difference of people. Sometimes with 50 musicians,
Yeah.
35 singers, and everybody's making instant music all together. Or I perform together with 4 or 5 disabled people.
Yeah.
And it was so fantastic crowd rock night because so disabled people so find some good life, so they like to continue always, so continue. So it's so special moment. So sometimes I have a concert together with opera singers or soprano singer or something else totally different. So sometimes with the string quartet and so. So each time is different. I cannot compare this one, this, because I really don't try to compare just anything, you know. So it's not so much important. So you cannot compare just your time.
So would you say you, as a human being like you, would have to be very sensitive to other people, what they're feeling when you're playing in that? Because you know a lot of musicians will play over each other and push the rest of them out of the way. But for you, you're feeling what everybody's feeling subconsciously, maybe, and sort of translating that into a group situation. So would you say you have an extraordinary sensitivity?
Yeah, at this moment is real communication, because if you don't know another people, so but having the same experience at the moment and trying to learn together to enjoy this moment. And this is a respect to another people, so it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
So, and if you want to feel this moment, so you really like it and you cannot forget this moment. And I'm quite really happy. So, so in March I performed in Milan. Is my this project. So Damo Suzuki's Networks 1000th concert, and I'm really so happy to have this opportunity to enjoy so wonderful days I can enjoy it. So it's really great.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks.